Respiration is a very important topic for GCSE Science, and that's what we're going to look at today for AQA GCSE Science Unit 2 and for additional science. Now, the first thing to remember about respiration is that it happens for one reason and one reason alone, and that is to provide energy. And we can break it up into two kinds of respiration. We have aerobic over here, and that means with oxygen, and anaerobic respiration means without oxygen, and we're going to look at anaerobic respiration in more detail in a later video, but for now let's have a look at aerobic respiration. The first thing to remember is that it's carried out continuously and continually with all plants and animals. We often forget that plants carry out respiration as well as photosynthesis, but they do require to carry out this process because they also require energy from glucose as well as animals. Now, if we take a cell from this little girl here and take a cell from the plant, we can look in slightly more detail what's going on. So here we have two diagrams that you might be familiar with, and this is the place where the respiration actually happens. You might notice within each of these structures there are these smaller structures, and these are called mitochondria. And if I was to take one out and have a look at it, you would see that it looks a little something like this. Plant cells also have mitochondria, so we can pull one out of there and have a look, and you'll see they have mitochondria as well. Now, the reason why I mention this is because the mitochondria is where the majority of aerobic respiration happens. So we have various ingredients that go into the cell, but the majority of the aerobic respiration happens within these structures called mitochondria. Now, to see what actual ingredients we use or what reactants we use, we have glucose and oxygen. These both enter the cell, and two waste products are made, and those are carbon dioxide and water. And of course, to go along with that, we have our energy. And that energy can be used for a whole variety of things, which we'll talk about in a minute. And remember, it's the same for animal cells and plant cells. We have glucose and oxygen supplied, and two waste products of carbon dioxide and water produced. And we can convert this, if you can remember this diagram, we can convert this into a word equation. And the word equation very simply goes like this. So this is the word equation for aerobic respiration. We have glucose plus oxygen gives carbon dioxide and water as waste products, and of course we have the energy at the end there. Now, what actually is this energy required for, and what do we need it for? Well, there's four different things that you need to remember, and those are as follows. Now, think about all living things. They need to actually build large molecules. They need to take smaller molecules or smaller parts and build them into larger ones. So what I have over here is some different shapes that represent amino acids. And you may remember that amino acids build up to make protein. So within the body, the energy from respiration is used to take these different amino acids, join them together in long chains to make protein. So there they are, being joined up by chemical reactions, and that chemical reaction, or those chemical reactions, require energy. So we go from amino acids into protein. And that's one example of where living things need to build new large molecules. Another use of the energy from respiration is by all animals, and that is very simply for movement. So if we look here, I've got a rough diagram of an arm with a muscle, and the energy produced from respiration is used to contract the muscles. And once the muscle contracts, we have movement. Okay, so that's an example of how that might happen for living things. In birds and mammals, we have the production of heat. Respiration is a process that produces heat. And birds and mammals keep their body temperatures around about 37 degrees centigrade, and respiration the energy from respiration can produce that heat, and that will maintain the body temperature for all birds and mammals. The last one I want you to remember is that plants use the energy for respiration, or from respiration, to take sugars, nitrates and a few other nutrients, and again they build those up into amino acids. So the energy that's produced from respiration takes these three key products and builds them up into amino acids. And as we know from up here, the example up here, amino acids build proteins, and these proteins can be used for a whole variety of things. One important one is for growth. So here are 4 key uses of the energy from respiration, and that's basically all I wanted to go through. Just before I go, the reminder that the website www.my-gcsescience.com has all these videos listed in order of the units and the topics, so that you can follow them through as you need to. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.